21 hurricane season is upon us, and we do not want you to be caught off guard. Are you ready? Join Storm Tracker Tishon Gomes for Riding the Storms, a 30-minute program bringing you step-by-step information about the hurricane season. 6:30 p.m. every Monday here on Kyrie FM. Come on, let's all ride the storms together.
It is 6:30 p.m. on Monday evening, and you know what that means. It is another episode of Riding the Storms. My name is Tishon Gomes, and we'll be here talking all things weather as we aim to ride the storms together. This episode is brought to you through the kind compliments of J. Astefan and Company Limited and AC Shiniford and Company Limited. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Can your roof withstand the test of time, weather conditions, and keep you covered? Well, J. Astefans Home and Building has you covered with quality roof sheeting. Available in a variety of colors and sizes, our roof sheeting is perfect for both industrial and commercial use. And guess what? Not only are we keeping you covered, we're saving you money with 50% off. Shop today at our Canefield Distribution Center. Call 237-2744 or 255-2792. Offer valid while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. J. Astefans. Right place, right price.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George 5th Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
It's my favorite time of the year. It's the time for giving, and we're sharing the joy of Christmas with you. Have a Thanksgiving Christmas with us. Get a chance to win shopping vouchers with every purchase of $100 or more spent at Fresh Market and Best Price. Check out our Facebook pages for more chances to win. Promotion ends December 23rd. Terms and conditions apply. Happy holidays from Fresh Market and Best Price.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
The hurricane season is here. Being prepared can help you and your family minimize the impact of the adverse weather conditions. Here's a few hurricane preparedness tips from Fine Foods. Know all evacuation routes if you live close to the coast. Have a first aid kit and prescription drug supplies on hand. If you need to evacuate, bring these supplies with you. Have plenty bottled water, batteries, and flashlights. Always have plenty of non-perishable items on hand. Be prepared. A few hurricane preparedness tips by Fine Foods, the biggest distributor of the biggest brands.
And we are back with Riding the Storms. This evening we'll be quote unquote the season finale of Riding the Storms. It has been a very good ride this year. The past 6 months of the hurricane season, that's been very, very interesting. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow, which is November 30th, that will be when the hurricane season officially comes to a close. However, we already know from past history that despite the hurricane season ending November 30th, starting June 1st and ending November 30th, we know good and well that the threat for hurricanes, the threat for flooding, the threat of trough systems, it doesn't end just in June and November. So we should always take caution, But this season, as I said, it will officially end tomorrow, November 30th. And some important statistics to note for this hurricane season would include the following. So we've had 21 named storms this season. And for anyone who has been keeping track, every year a list of 21 names is published by the National Hurricane Center in terms of the names for the hurricane season. And we have exhausted all of these 21 names throughout this season. So we've had Anna, we've had Bill, followed by Claudette, Danny, Elsa, and according to Mr. Alexander, who was there first last week, Elsa actually replaced Erica, which was a tropical storm that hugely affected us in 2015. So as a result of these damages, the name Erica was retired, and it's now going to be replaced, or it will be replaced with Elsa for the 2021 season. After Elsa, we had Fred, followed by Grace, which is a hurricane that hit Mexico as a Category 1 first, followed by a Category 3 hurricane. And then we had Henri. It is not Henry, but Henri. It is a French name, followed by Ida. Now, a note on Ida, it was the most destructive hurricane of the 2021 season, posing a lot of damages, particularly to the coast of Louisiana. And those of us who have family and friends in the United States, we should pay close attention and spare a prayer or two, because we ourselves have experienced Maria 4 years ago. And I wouldn't say a fun fact, but a very interesting fact about Hurricane Ida is that it actually struck almost the same place in Louisiana 16 years, if I have this number correct, 16 years to the day that Hurricane Katrina struck that area in 2005. So August 29, 2005, we had Hurricane Katrina in that same area, and August 29, 2021, we have Hurricane Ida striking the same area. And there's a saying that goes in weather that says, in weather, history tends to repeat itself quite often. So you will hear a lot of forecasters, you will hear a lot of storm trackers, storm chasers. They'll always be talking about almost to the day X amount of years ago this event happened. And usually historical data is always good to find out what can or might happen in the future. Obviously, just because it happened in the past, it doesn't mean that it will happen exactly the same way. I mean, no two things are the same. However, we should know from past history that things can change quite often. Okay, so just a little note on Ida. It didn't do us anything in particular, but we should spare a thought for the families of those in Louisiana who are still recovering. It was a very, very devastating experience. People lost their lives. We had a lot of loss of property, loss of lives, loss of animals. It was a very obscene experience, and I hope that just like we tried our best to get back on our feet after Hurricane Maria, that they come back on their feet after Hurricane Ida, because it was very, 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 very devastating. Alright, after Ida, we had Julian, followed by Kate and Larry, and then we had Mindy, followed by Nicholas. Now, Nicholas was a very, very short-lived hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, and to those of you who have been tracking the weather quite often, as well as myself, the Gulf of Mexico is known for, hurricanes, rapid intensification, a lot of these things. Okay, so it wasn't really a surprise that Nicholas became a hurricane just before landfall, because the Gulf of Mexico is known for very, very rapidly intensifying storms, and people living in these areas are usually very, very cautious right? Because you really never know what can happen. The water is very, very hot, and the temperature of the water, the sea temperature, is always the number one factor in determining how quickly or how strong a hurricane can get. So given that the Gulf of Mexico was very warm this year, as it is almost pretty much every year, there's no surprise that any system who got there had some form of strengthening. So Hurricane Nicholas, Category 1 hurricane, hit Texas in August, all right? After Nicholas, we had Odette, followed by Peter, Rose, and the most recent hurricane, or the last hurricane on the hurricane season, was Hurricane Sam. Now, just another note on Hurricane Sam. It was the most powerful storm in terms of the wind speed. It was 155 miles per hour in terms of wind speed. Luckily, despite its strong wind speed, it did not affect any land masses. I know we here in the Caribbean, we were watching from the time it left Africa, or well, I should even say by the time it left Africa. Even while it was still in Africa, storm trackers, meteorologists, everyone we were watching, we were saying, okay, this one looks to be serious. All the way from Africa, it went on and on and on. We were I wouldn't say we were on the threat, but we were watching because, with the advancement of technology, we are able to use the information, use the data, use the computers, all of these things that we invest so much money in. You can use all of that information to try to predict or try to prepare ourselves for any eventuality. So that is what we were watching for Sam. Luckily, just before it went to the islands, it did a curve towards the northwest. It did not affect any land masses whatsoever. Bermuda got a little touch, but it did not affect Bermuda that much. Besides some gusty winds, rip currents. But we were very happy that a very powerful hurricane in Hurricane Sam did not do any significant damage to Bermuda or any island whatsoever. Okay, so after Hurricane Sam, we had Teresa, Victor, and Wanda. Wanda was the last name of the hurricane season. And a note to make about these storms is that if we had another storm for the season, or if there were any other storm to be formed during the season, you'll have had to go to the auxiliary list. Now, the auxiliary list is another list of English names that will be used if, for any reason whatsoever, the 21 names that are put out every year by the National Hurricane Center end up being exhausted. But this year, we stopped just on 21 exactly. So hopefully, next year we have to see what happens in terms of will the list be used or will the list not be used. It's still a very, very long time ahead. Okay, so we had 21 named storms, 7 hurricanes and 4 major hurricanes. In terms of the only storm to affect Dominica significantly, we have to talk about Hurricane Elsa. We go under a tropical storm warning on that Friday morning. Okay, and in Barbados, there was a sustained wind of 74 miles per hour. And 74 miles per hour is the threshold for a hurricane. So that is why the National Hurricane Center decided to classify Elsa as a hurricane. And we here in Dominica, we had some effects, all right? I remember that Friday we were here in the studio. We were talking about how storm trackers, with my fellow storm trackers and myself, we were discussing what was happening with Elsa, and we did a little shift system, all right? Some of us stayed through the night, some of us went to sleep, wake up 5 o'clock. But around the clock all night, we were watching that storm very much through the night, through the morning. And just when I was getting to work around 8 o'clock, I saw a notification from the Hurricane Center saying that the tropical storm Elsa is now becoming a hurricane. And I remember walking to Carrier FM, as a matter of fact, I keep making that joke all the time. But I remember walking to Carrier FM and I was getting the little pebbles, right? The little pebbles were so strong because of the wind was being so strong. I got a few pebbles. I got hit by a few pebbles and it felt like I was getting hit like a big slap in my face. So that is how powerful the wind was, But yes, Elsa was maybe one of the few storms to significantly impact us. But luckily, thank God, we did not obtain any serious damage. We did not obtain any destruction. As you know, we are still recovering from Maria. And hopefully we can get to the stage where we can be adequately prepared for any eventuality. Alright, and while we're talking about Elsa, right? Elsa became the earliest fifth named storm for the entire Atlantic. So Elsa broke a record. Okay, it was the earliest fifth named storm in the Atlantic and the earliest hurricane ever. On July 2nd, that was the earliest that a hurricane has ever formed in the history of hurricanes. From 1850 all the way to this present day, Elsa was the earliest hurricane to ever form. Alright, and we should know about climate change. We've been hearing a lot of forums, a lot of conferences, a lot of concerns about the global warming, and we should always take that into consideration because it's going to look like every year we're going to be under threat for these things, and we should always be prepared. Okay, you don't want to get caught sleeping or caught with your pants down. We don't want that to happen to us. Alright, also the formation of tropical storm or subtropical storm Anna in May of this year. That means that this year was the 7th year in a row, right? 7th year in a row that a named storm has developed before June 1st. Okay? Do you know that the hurricane season lasts from June 1st to November 30th, officially? However, 7 years in a row now, we've had a system forming before June 1st, okay? And the National Hurricane Center has put things in place to ensure that, okay, we are going to start issuing our outlooks on May 15th. So if anything forms before that, the people will be made aware of what is going on. Okay, so this is pretty much how the season has went. Right, luckily we did not, as an island in Dominica, we did not get any significant damage. However, we need to spare our thoughts for the other Caribbean islands, the other countries in particular, United States, Mexico, Jamaica, Cuba. These other countries experienced some damages from the systems that formed this year. So we need to spare thought for them, because when we go down and out, they were there for us. So we need to spare thought for them in our prayers. Make sure that they are back up under control. And hopefully next year, God willing, when the next hurricane season comes along, we continue to stay proactive, stay safe, etc. Alright, but this is Tishan Gomze Friday in the Storms. We're going to have another word from our sponsors. We will be right back after a word from our lovely sponsors.
Can your roof withstand the test of time, weather conditions, and keep you covered? Well, J. Astafans Home and Building has you covered with quality roof sheeting. Available in a variety of colors and sizes, our roof sheeting is perfect for both industrial and commercial use. And guess what? Not only are we keeping you covered, we're saving you money with 50% off. Shop today at our Canefield Distribution Center. Call 237-2744 or 255-2792. Offer valid while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. J. Astafans. Right place, right price.
Dominicans, enjoy your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, enjoy your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait till your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season and insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George 5th Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today.
King Ocean Services, Dominica's #1 choice for swift and dependable ocean cargo services, announces that effective October 1st, 2021, our new local agent is Dominica Freight Systems. Visit Dominica Freight Systems in Canefield next to AutoTrade or call 255-6864 or 255-6865 for all your ocean freight and cargo transportation needs. King Ocean, born in the Caribbean, trusted with more than 30 years of shipping experience.
Revitalize your home with a burst of fresh and uplifting aromas from the Beep line of products. Every Beep product will delight you with its quality and is sure to help take the chore out of housework. Use the entire Beep range and your home will thank you. Beep. Want value? Smart choice. Protect yourself and family by using Beep Disinfectant Spray. Not only does it kill 99.9% of bacteria and mold, Beep Disinfectant Spray also kills the hepatitis A virus and flu viruses, including H1N1. Available in 3 delightful fragrances.
And we are back with Riding the Storms. Just before we leave, I just want to add another note on the hurricane season to mention that it was the fourth costliest season in terms of damages on record, with damages totaling over $70 billion US. Now, most of this damage was attributed to Hurricane Ida, which affected Louisiana. And that was a lot of damage put together by that one hurricane, because not only did it affect Louisiana with torrential rains, etc., we should notice that after it affected Louisiana, it went all the way inside the United States and caused a lot of destruction, a lot of flooding, caused some people to lose their lives. So a lot of the damage put forth this year by hurricanes was put by Hurricane Ida. So damages costed over $70 billion US. The only years that were more destructive were 2005, 2007, and 2012. Okay, so very, very damaging in terms of the amount of destruction that these hurricanes have put forth. Alright, and just before we leave, I'd like to say thank you, a special thank you to the following people. Alright, I'd like to say thank you to all the sponsors who have been on board with me, on board with the show. Really, really appreciate it on behalf of Kyrie FM. Really appreciate the sponsorship. Really appreciate coming on board. Even to the sponsors who came on the show itself, we also like to appreciate you for taking your time out of this busy schedules that you guys have to come on the show, talk about weather, and to also bring forth your products and services that you offer. Alright, very, very grateful to the sponsors. Without the sponsors, the show would not be possible. Alright, I'd like to thank all the guests, especially the ministers, Honorable Blackmore, Honorable Reginald Ostreet, just to name a few. All the guests, you are special to me. Without the guests, the show wouldn't have been made possible, because you guys we have had very interactive discussions, very useful, very important discussions throughout the time that we have been here for Riding the Storm. So I'd like to thank the guests. I'd like to thank you, the listeners, those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are watching on your television sets, those of you who are watching on the radio, on your way home, on your telephones, on the Facebook Live. All of you who are listening one way or another, I'd like to thank you for being here and listening, and hopefully taking some of the information that will be very, very useful in the upcoming future. And last but by no means least, I'd like to thank Kyrie FM for giving me the opportunity to express my weather skills, so to say, give me the opportunity to have a voice for the weather community, giving me the opportunity to be here for the last 6 months. I've learned a lot. I've gained a lot of friendships, a lot of beautiful discussions. I cannot say thank you enough to Kyrie FM. They are giving me an opportunity to express myself, to be a voice to people, and hopefully that all of the things that we spoke about this year during Riding the Storms, that you guys take it into good consideration. Even though the hurricane season will officially end tomorrow, that doesn't mean that the rain and the flooding will end tomorrow. We need to pick up ourselves and get ready for the next hurricane season, which will come in June 2022, God willing. So we need to ensure that we are ready, and all the information that you take, all the information that we brought forth here with you for the last few months, that you take it seriously and that it becomes very useful into preparing and limiting damage from any potential hurricanes or hazards. For the last time, for now, this is Tishon Gomes from Riding the Storms. We will be back. Hopefully I will be back. But it was a very nice experience. Hopefully, very, very interesting. Very, very grateful for the opportunity. But for the final time, this is Tishan Gomes, Riding the Storms. I'm signing off, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
The 2021 hurricane season is upon us, and